China Renaissance, the investment bank founded by Chinese billionaire Bao Fan, has announced that it is now aware that Mr. Bao is cooperating in an investigation being conducted by Chinese authorities. The announcement follows reports that Mr. Bao had been missing for 11 days, causing the bank's shares to plummet to a record low. Well, with me here is Celia Hatton to discuss more. And Celia, we'll talk about what happened to Mr. Bao first, but just tell us why he's such an important figure.
He's such a key player in the Chinese economy, Yelda. That's because he's key in the tech sector, but also in the finance sector. He kind of sits right in the divide between them. And he's known for putting together huge investment deals. This is a man who came from an investment banking background to form his own boutique firm, China Renaissance, as you mentioned, and that firm has really been key to so many deals. So he really was the person, they say in tech sectors, you know you've made it if you're in touch with Bao Fan or if Bao Fan is in touch with you. And so for him to go missing at this key time in the Chinese economy is really stunning to so many people. And that's why we've seen the stock markets really reacting to the disappearance of this one man.
And it's not just this one man, is it, Celia? I mean, well, you and I have over the years talked about the strange disappearance of key figures, people who become quite powerful, and then the state sort of says, okay, well, you now have to come with us almost.
That's right. I mean, we have Jack Ma, who was the richest man in China, head of Alibaba. He's now, we know as of January, he's stepped away from the firm, and they've already said that no key person will be appointed in his wake. There'll be no key shareholder to pick up his position. We also have somebody like Xiao Jianhua, who had a hood put over his head and was basically kidnapped from the Four Seasons Hotel in Hong Kong. He was the person who was the investment banker to China's key Communist Party elites. He was also taken, sentenced to 13 years in prison. And so we're seeing this pattern over and over again. Jack Ma, Xiao Jianhua, now Bao Fan. And so really, this is, I think, a conscious decision by Beijing. You know, they're making it clear that no matter what Bao Fan might have been involved in behind the scenes, and there are some theories that he might have been involved in a deal that the Chinese authorities don't like, but by taking him away so publicly, you know, publicly but privately, they take him away. There are concerns about where he is. It's thought that he's in detention. His firm has to come forward and announce that they haven't been in contact with him. So it really gets the rumor mill going. It gets fears and anxieties really rising, and it's a very kind of public way of making sure that the authorities show that they're in control.
Yeah, and so, you know, Xi Jinping has sort of put it in the guise of a corruption campaign. But does it come down to no one is more powerful than the state?
I think that's a big message. Now, there have been details that have been coming out about Bao Fan. Now, Bao Fan was the founder of China Renaissance, that boutique firm that I've mentioned. But the president of China Renaissance actually was under investigation a few months ago. This is a man named Cong Lin. Now, Cong Lin was important because he used to work for China's biggest state-owned bank. And while he was at that bank, China Renaissance, the boutique firm, got $200 million in credit extended to it, and then Cong Lin joined that small boutique firm. He got a job there. And so there have been questions raised about that $200 million deal. So there is a reason, perhaps, why the authorities want to speak to both men. However, the fact that Bao Fan simply disappeared into the night, presumably into detention, he's cooperating with the authorities, it's part of this pattern we've seen with very influential Chinese billionaires before. We can see that, yes, the authorities are trying to extend the message to show that nobody is more powerful than the party, nobody's more powerful than Xi Jinping.
Celia, fascinating stuff. Thanks so much for joining us.